Hello and welcome to the Energy Show. Today we are here to spread a little happiness. Oh, and I wonder what that's going to be all about. Shall we find
Oh,
out?
I
Let's
think we
get
should.
started.
Let's get started.
Welcome to the Energy Show. Here we discuss the energy solutions to the problems of the modern age. It's all about emotional well-being. It's all about energy. And our happiness matters. Hey, yes. So this morning we're like, okay, what we're going to do with the Energy Show. And I said, let's just spread a little happiness as we walk by. And I think the world can use that. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. That's so much stress trying to make the perfect Christmas, isn't there, at this time of year?
We're
There's so
about to pay
much,
for the perfect Christmas.
yes, so much people running around. I'm sure that the accident rate at this time of year increases on the roads. But yeah, how should we cheer people up today? What can we teach people? What energy technique should we do to get people's energy a little bit higher, Sylvia?
Well, we could just start by just taking a deep breath in. And tapping your feet on the floor to remind yourself you're really here. I do that a lot and I go, oh, I am. Yes, not just in cyberspace. I'm actually a real person in the material world. And even though this may be horrendous and shocking to some, it is kind of a just a see. I talk a lot about reality divergence. It's when people believe something, but it isn't reality, because they see, in my world we actually have a really real reality, which I call reality absolute. We don't just all make it up in our minds, or we don't. There is an actual real reality absolute. And when what we believe diverges from this real reality, the more it diverges, the worse the stress becomes, and the tension, and the weirdness, and bad luck, and all sorts of bad things happen, until this stretching away from real reality becomes so huge, it's like a rubber band, and it snaps. And then people are thrown back into real reality absolute, and they're going, what the hell has just happened here? And they don't understand what happened. And
To
so,
be honest, Sylvia, I wish more people were closer to the real reality.
yes,
I think that would be helpful. I mean,
it would
what
be
we're a
very
species
helpful.
of 8.2 billion people. This on a small little rock flying through space. I mean, I mean, the fact that we've got so far with these common myths and things like money, for example, show a I don't know $100, £100 note, if such a thing exists, to a pig, and the pig's like, that doesn't exist. So who's more intelligent, us or the pig?
Well, I I have a model of reality absolute that works as follows. We got physical reality at the bottom. That's
Mm.
eating, drinking, surviving, not freezing to death, all that stuff. Oh, procreating, sex. Now this video is going to get demonetized. Never mind. So that's physical reality. And then at the top, we have energy reality, which is also completely real. And people just deny that that exists, that there is a greater universe, that there's all this invisible energy that's being exchanged. But in between the two, there sits this thing I call the hard. And that's the sort of reality constructed by human beings. And that's money and taxes and cars and spaceships and physics and language and philosophy, all that
And
stuff. And
and
I call that,
one of the other ones is the idea of the retirement.
oh, the retire, but all these human concepts that animals just don't have. That's all that stuff is called the hard. Shall
Mm.
we do my quick meditation for this, because it's really fun? Okay,
Yeah,
we did
please.
already the tapping the feet on the floor.
Mhm.
And you can assume the heart position if you want, but you don't have to. Just tap your feet on the floor and just connect with the physical reality. In fact, you're breathing, and your heart's beating and pumping blood around your body. And yeah, that's physical reality. That's very nice. We can look down as we do that because you can see your legs, you know, and see your personage there, your physical body. Okay, and now you look straight ahead. Take a deep breath. Just allow your awareness to widen out on all the things that are in your room that surround you. You know, the screen in front of you, and then just everything else that's on the roof over your head and the floor beneath your feet. There's all that stuff. All of that is created by human beings. That is what I call the hard. Not because it's physically hard, but it's just so damn hard to live in this reality that human beings have created for themselves. And take a deep breath in. Now look up. Look straight up through the ceiling, through the weather above where the sun is always shining, and the greater universe out there. And that's the energy levels that, you know, and they are also absolutely real. They were not created by human beings. They're just there. And I saw something yesterday on X where they were having the God argument about whether God is real or not, and all this business like they're having, you know, the atheists, the Christians, the just And I thought to myself, well, if there's one big can of worms in this world,
Can of worms alert.
it's the God discussion. It's the God discussion. So I don't engage in that. I think in terms of the great creative order. And I just say that I can't, because I'm human and my brain is tiny. I can only see so much of it, understand so much of it. But there is something else out there, reality absolute. It's the great creative order. It exists. I'm not getting drawn into debates of whether it's conscious or anything like that. It's just there, the great creative order. There is a reality. And there being a reality, there's also these reality divergences. And the more we diverge from reality absolute, the unhappier we become.
So, case example, someone meets a new partner, and they are the most amazing person on this planet. They are like angels walking amongst us, and you feel so lucky to have them. Yet, after about 3 years, the reality tends
of
to
them
diverge.
being an actual human being with all the good bits and the bad things begins to emerge. Yes, and if the reality divergence is too great, then there is this snapback of trauma, catastrophe, accident, misery that has to occur to realign us back to actual reality. Or we just go completely
this way,
insane.
though, aren't we? I mean, we are
created that way. We are made that way. This is our structure that we've gotten from the great creative order. And that's something, that's my hobby horse of all time, is just understand people better, be nicer to them. For the love of God, be nicer to the human beings on planet Earth. Politicians, lawmakers, philosophers, religious leaders, whoever you are out there, just be a bit nicer to people for the love of God. That's a phrase. That's it. I wasn't going to use it. So for the love of the great creative order, just let's be a bit nicer to people, spread a little happiness if we can somehow. You know, that's...
I think everybody's watching this is one of those nice people, Sylvia. One of these nice people that are spreading a little bit of energy, love around their communities.
Have become aware of the fact that as an individual, even though you're only one of 8 billion on the little rock, as you said, It is
Mm,
in your power to spread a little happiness
mm,
as you walk by, as you go through life. You can. I knew somebody who used to shout abuse at these people who phone you up and try to sell you stuff. They're sitting somewhere in a prison camp and they're forced to phone one person after the other all day long.
mm.
And and so this person used to shout abuse at them, and I kind of asked them not to do that anymore,
Yeah.
just to say bless you and put the phone down. Yeah, so we were talking about just not shouting abuse at people who work in a call center, because the exact same amount of time that it takes to tell somebody to off, you could just say bless you and then put the phone down. It's not going to disturb your life, it's not going to make it any harder for you. But there's also this, so yeah, that's one thing we can do. What else can we do to spread a little happiness as we walk by?
Well, I think one of the top things we can do is just use conversational star matrix with the people that we come across. So,
Yes,
and
yes.
I find that really interesting. For example, like if you're on a train next to someone, you could just strike up a conversation saying, "What's the what fun things what fun things have you done today? What's the what's the star moment of today?" Or if you're just chatting to a friend, even they're saying, "Oh, oh, I hate my work. I hate this. I hate that." They're being a real hate smurf. So you say, "Oh yes, of course, you have every right to hate this. Let's give them. Let's find something. Tell me something that you're looking forward to. Something that, or something that's happened that recently you're really surprised you, made you feel, buzzing. Whatever it is, for each person it's different, but it is
Yeah.
remarkable. It's remarkable how easy it is to lead the conversation from somewhere that is like a train going down a hill into Doomland
Yeah.
to something that actually means that people actually, are happy to have this conversation, because two people engaged in a doom loop is not fun. So yeah,
I
it's
had
so easy to get out of it.
I have a star memory of being in your garden. For some reason, I don't know why we were there, possibly during the isolation. And there was this young builder person who came in and did some work on your central heating or something. I don't know. And as he's walking out, seemed nice. As he's walking out, I shouted at him, "Hey, tell me something you enjoy." And he stopped and just went, "Oh, I really like a nice glass of beer on a hot sunny day." And then he went into all sorts of other things, and he was just beaming. And it was
Mm,
it had just come to me to do that just out of the blue. He left just so happy, and his energy was up, and we were all like, "Wow, how easy was that?" And
mm,
why don't we think to do that more often? And that was just great. It was in the early, when we first started doing Star Matrix properly. I
mm.
I just tried it out rather than any lead into it. I just said to him, "Hey, before you go, tell me something that you like." And it was as simple as that. And it did spread a little
Yeah.
happiness on that day. It was really good.
I think that's something, isn't it? We can all work on that confidence to take charge of a situation or conversation, or to lead a
Yes.
conversation, because it can be so easy just to accept that someone else's conversation is the conversation that it will be had.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's awful, and then I had a
Especially if it
flat
was had a
tire,
billion times before,
and
especially if
then
you're like
someone
talking
randomly
to a
walked past me
relative.
and punched me in the face, and like for some, we've been told for generations that a good friend is as a listener. But that is, to listen is good, but to actually lead that conversation into a place of happiness, into a place of energy, is much more fun. Yeah. So yeah, I completely, that is a really rubbish day you've had there. Right. Let's let's talk about something fun. Is there anything cool that your kids have been doing recently? It's just easy, isn't it? Just to
Yeah, the thing
take
with
charge, take. Yeah, it's the same. I mean, we had one of the members on the GRE member group or Star Matrix Forever post recently, and they said they're feeling a bit down, and so what they did was they asked their energy mind for something. For a nice star memory for something positive, and they came up with this idea of being by a fire when they
with
were
a
young.
friend.
It was this with a friend, massive star memory, being by a fire, and all of a sudden they realised they felt positive and a bit more happy. And that's it, isn't it? This person was feeling sad, and they thought, you know what? Shall I inflict my sadness on other people? Shall I actually embrace my sadness or give it a name? Like, I don't know, here's my sadness. His name is Paul.
Oh no, hate it when people make
no.
entities out of their emotions and then go and have
It's
relationships.
the invisible friend that just
I
wants
bloody hate it. I bloody hate it when people do that. Yes.
So yeah, just take charge of yourself, your energy levels. Realize that you can.
Very important
help other
point,
people with
Alex.
theirs.
This is a very
And go
important
for it.
point you are making. The best way to go about spreading a little happiness to other people is to have the bloody happiness to spread in the first place inside yourself.
Mhm.
If you're miserable and depressed, you have nothing to give, and you're trying to suck energy from other people, probably through what you've learned through whining, complaining, and then hopefully somebody will say, oh, they're there, or like if you get a whole group of them together, you can all whine and complain together. And
interesting, Sylvia, you say that. I mean, yeah, I completely agree. When you first start out with Star Matrix, or maybe you do this naturally, like when someone says hello to you or morning as you're walking past them. Obviously, this doesn't happen in cities. People think you're weird, but where I like to go, walks through the countryside, across fields, trekking up a mountain. People say hello to each other, which is fantastic.
Normal.
It's an actual normal response. Sometimes, actually, even when you're feeling sad yourself, and you can actually learn by rote. Oh, someone's being negative, right? I say this. You can, obviously, it helps to say it from a positive energy point of view. But actually, just having that practice of, oh my goodness, no, someone said something negative to me. Brain, think, right, let's make this into let's find a positive in something else, and let's together as a group. So yeah. The more you have, the more you have to give.
I also thought.
Practice as well.
I also just thought of the Melville pattern, which is one of the funniest damn things that I've ever done in NLP. I created the Melville pattern. Do look that up because it's hilarious. It's when somebody says something to you, to completely not respond to what they're saying with whatever it is, but to completely say something that you want to say instead. And it goes like this. So somebody says, oh, I'm so miserable. And then you say, funny you should say that. That totally doesn't remind me of that time when I was having so much fun at this party. We were laughing our heads off. It was hilarious. And all of us had just such a fabulous experience. Basically, the structure of it is to say, that's amazing. And it totally doesn't remind me of, and then you say whatever it is that you want to be talking about. It's a very...
I don't know, Sylvia. I can imagine that would annoy a lot of people, but
they don't notice it. They don't notice. They don't
Mm.
notice it. They actually don't notice that. It's a weird, fascinating pattern. And you don't have to say, "Oh, funny, you should say that." That totally doesn't remind me of. There's many other ways to get into the Melville pattern. Like, and it's fascinating. You can take charge of conversation and take it any which way you want. And I invite you guys to try this out. But I just wanted to say something about this conversational energy flipping. That's what we're talking about here. Is you do need practice, definitely, like Alex said, but you also need to have this thing that it actually doesn't matter so much. I mean, what are they going to do? Like when I found the courage to say to the builder, hey, before you go, tell me something that you like. What's going to happen? Is he going to turn around and throw his plumbing tools at me? I mean, what is the worst that could happen here? If I said something and my partner didn't like it, is he going to divorce me on the spot instantly and move out, pack his bags and leave? What is think
It's
about that.
unlikely, very
Yeah, I
unlikely, isn't
know.
it?
The sort of fears that we have about our communications with other people, we don't understand how fleeting they are. How
Mm.
fleeting they are. You used to try and deprogram Jehovah's Witnesses and such, didn't you? And you found that you got so far, and then there was this switch flicked, and they were right back where they started.
I know. I was young. I didn't know any better, and I was the,
You were experimenting.
the Richard Dawkins, campaigning for science, I guess. Yeah,
But
but
yeah, you can't.
it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, most human beings want to think that they're being logical and reasonable,
Mhm.
and if you keep them on the side of that, then when you're making a logical argument or when you're making persuasive language, if you can keep them thinking that they're behaving logically and reasonably, so that's not going in saying, "Oh, you're wrong for this, wrong, 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 wrong," because the shields go up. They get very defensive, angry. I mean, it's
Mhm.
best to go in with, have you, so what is your thoughts on dot dot
Yeah.
dot?
Have you
What
considered
how
this?
how have you squared, the realities of the world not being flat, not being round, with your own internal reality of the world being flat?
Yeah.
How have you squared that? And that's
Or
interesting, because
yeah, if somebody.
as soon as they realize that their beliefs are changing, or that they're starting to question their own beliefs, that's when it gets really tricky, because
Yeah.
the general idea is, what the best way I found is, they come to their ideas by themselves,
Yes.
because an idea that they have,
Inventable discovery, I call that. It's
the idea they have is gets accepted. It's like a computer virus. If the computer accepts it as being its own code, then it will happily run it,
But
in the same
the
way.
point I was trying to make here was that don't be afraid of saying something unusual,
Mm.
something different to change the course of a communication. Don't be
You can do
afraid
it
of
for
that.
pattern interrupt as well. It's a pattern interrupt, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
People's
it could be,
brains
yeah.
people's
Yes.
brains are like the wind. Like, you say something and they'll drift, and you say something else and they drift back. And yeah, it's interesting. But of course, if someone starts to panic about beliefs change, or feeling like it's not going well, then all of a sudden shutters come up. Faith, I know it to be true.
Yes.
I know this is true. This is the truth. And you're
Well,
going
look,
to hell.
we definitely not going to be
Fascinating.
spreading a little happiness by arguing with people. I think we can make that conclusion here, that is not the way forward in order to spread a little happiness, to make people happier. Because
No,
look,
no,
I
I don't
mean,
do this anymore. No, this
I
is
had a
yeah.
I had a
This is
theory. I have a theory, that if we can raise people's energy enough, that they will have their own inevitable discovery of certain things, and that the higher they are on the energy chart, the more freedom they have in their thinking, and they're more able then to see, like if they're in a cult, to see that, to understand that, to break free from within.
mm,
I believe that if you can raise people's energy enough and often enough, the energy average, really what we're looking at here, is it's not enough to raise people's energy just once a week in church by singing and dancing and clapping. That's not enough. If their whole week
that would
was,
help, I think.
yeah, it would. But if their whole week was at -6, and
Mm,
so they got this 1 + 7 + 8, or possibly even a +10 at the weekend, their
mm.
energy average will still be way too low to make any spiritual progress.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
So
something that the religious types do have, that I feel is definitely lacking, is this whole idea that, you send one of the 7 days is for coming together, is to
think
singing as
about
well. Singing is a very human thing.
things that are not about physical reality, not about the heart, rather.
Yeah, make
To think
connections.
about things that are not about the heart, Just
It's a
think
nice
about it.
idea. It's a shame human beings and all their fallible nature has to be
Don't do
involved,
it.
really, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a shame.
You can have a
Okay,
direct connection with God, and you need to go see a priest several times a week to get you to have your direct connection with God. That priest, oh God, us human loves pyramids. We love pyramids with put some person at the top.
well, this is our heritage, isn't it? From the animal kingdom, if you will.
Mm.
That's the way
It is
it
interesting.
does.
I love the fact that we, as a species, we prefer to be collectively wrong than individually right. And I've said that a couple of times. I find that fascinating that if I say, for example, you're in a group of 1,000 people on the Titanic, and you're just looking at each other on the deck and you're not in the lifeboat. That's actually preferable, right? To being 1,000 people on in the lifeboat. So one person on the deck going, I think I've made a mistake here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I've never felt that at all. And there's something wrong with me because I don't do that. I'm like, I don't care if you all say I'm wrong. I know what I know, and I'm right. I can
I
take
ain't
that.
diverging from my reality.
I ain't diverging from my reality, goddamn you. No, I'm not. But yeah, so I
Interesting.
really really the key to spread a little happiness is to basically be more happy yourself before you go out and interact with human beings, to do something to raise your energy. What works best for you? Whether it's a round of modern energy tapping for I'm awesome or whatever it is that would cheer you up on the day. I'm a movie star. I'm on YouTube. Woohoo! I could do that before going on to doing a live stream or something, to then have more energy and more to give to the people who are listening to us.
Yeah.
So it does start with one person, because if you haven't, you can't pour from the dry cup. You cannot pour from the dry cup. So, dear person listening to us, and all those people only hearing us at the energy levels, there's billions of them, Alex, listening, all the beings in the rafters. Please make it your business to you be energy high first, to not put your happiness in the hands of other people, whoever these may be they viewers or lovers or fans or followers. Do not put your happiness into the hands of other people, but take control of it yourself and do that energy thing that we can do that makes us feel better about ourselves, about the world, about everything in it. So then we are stronger, then we have got something to give, and then we can spread a little happiness as we go by.
Yeah, and also every person that you come in contact with, every person that you walk past, even. I mean, we have this opportunity to, every interaction we have either raises energy or it takes away energy.
Yes,
and
correct.
There's certain things we can do to take energy away from another person. There's certain things we do to
Make them
can add
miserable.
energy. Yeah,
Make
for
them
example,
happy.
shouting at call center people, or shouting at waiters, or shouting at bus drivers, or beeping your horn at other car drivers. There's all these things that you can do to certainly take the energy out of the situation, and then you've also got things you can do to add energy. And I suspect that the people that are watching this energy show are the energy adders.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Like when you talking with someone, it's often said that you can give a compliment or an observation, and that actually gives them something about themselves that they might not know. People always value extra information about themselves. You could, it's saying
unless
something.
they're suffering from a massive reality diversion where they actually think that they are a good person and a nice person, and then it turns out all along they weren't.
I think everybody thinks they're nice in a certain way, don't they? Well, 99% of people. You've got the murderers and the psychopaths, I guess, who may have had the not here.
It's a fascinating. It is a fascinating thing, though. I would very much like for people to understand how much power there is in being able to make other people a little bit happier by every means that they possibly can. There is so much power in that. It smooths the path of your life so much more and provides so many more opportunities as well. And people will, once people start going out of their way a little bit to help you because they like you and they feel uplifted when they think about you, so they have more energy to give. Once people go just a little bit more out of their way to help you, life becomes completely different. Just becomes completely different from a life where everybody is kind of like, ugh, I don't like this person, or I don't want to help them, or folds down, or it is tremendous. It's unfathomable in its effects. So it's well worth doing. It's practical. It's in fact, it's really stupid not to do that and to go around and make people angry and upset or try and hurt them more. I wish the people on social media over on various places would understand this basic principle.
Well, you know, Sylvia, about when that Russian bot was exposed as promoting right-wing policies for the. So this bot was outed. The Russian bot was outed, and it turns out that loads of people were having these passionate, heated arguments with an artificial intelligence. And I do suspect that there are artificial intelligence bots parading as humans on social media that are just there to suck in people. Like there's this whole woke debate, isn't it? Where like, you know, they'll post the thing like a pink Jaguar, knowing that they're going to get a certain type of person flapping, flap. Oh my goodness, look at what they're doing. Look what Gen Z have said now. Oh my goodness, how stupid they are. When
See,
really,
this is interesting. Interesting you should bring that up.
It's the person
it's
that is
interesting
reacting
you
that is
should
being
bring that up.
played. And I find that really interesting. The people that are being played to react, you know, to these kind of, you know, Daily Mailish headlines, it's certainly they don't realize that they're the victims.
See, the Jaguar thing is really interesting to me. They decided to completely piss off their existing customer base. I mean, just absolutely 100% piss them off. That is the taking the energy away, right? That is trying to take people's energy away, put them down, make them angry, make them upset, make them cry. That's the purpose of that. I mean, they set out to do that, and they said that they did. And I think that's really sad because, man, you could have done this a different way. So you got your old customers who are rich people who have big houses and live in the countryside. And then you got your new customers, whoever they may be, which is undefined. But why don't we think in a way in which we could make something that shows love to both these customer sets? And when I thought about this, I thought there is a natural intersection in that brand, Jaguar. It's a beautiful cat, right? So the old customers, they liked this whole cat thing, and they live in the countryside, so they appreciate the environment. The new customers, Gen Z or whatever, they love the environment. They love cats. They're making electric cars. There surely could have been some place there of love where you could have brought that together into a new project where that was born from love rather than born from trying to make people hate it. And that's
interesting.
really
play on it.
This is my assertion on that is that spread a little happiness. Jaguar is not spreading a little happiness. It really isn't. That's not what they're doing at all.
No,
and
it's a social experiment.
Sad. It makes me sad.
The Jaguar brand has been
they had an
bought
opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, what is that? That's got 400 million views or something, shared millions of times, and it certainly is an interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, what they've done is they've taken the class war that someone else has, or some that exists, between the generations, a generational war. It's not even a class war anymore, is it? It's a generation war. The idea that if you separate people, divide and conquer it, I mean, it's a proven tactic. And then, I mean, the Jaguar brand got bought out by a big company. Jaguar has sales of, as the owners get older, the number of people buying Jaguars. So they really had nothing to lose from this little gamble. And oh my goodness, when you get Elon Musk with 200 million followers sharing this and making, honestly, like as a PR stunt, it was insane. But again, what they've done is they've taken the good British Jaguar name and they have essentially said, you know what, it's not worth anything anymore. Its value is essentially zero. Let's just roll the dice on it, because the people that have made that decision have got absolutely no. They don't care about the British car industry.
No,
we digress.
We don't digress, because I think that
not.
no, because this is a nice illustration of where, if you had come from a place of love and the desire to spread a little happiness, to raise energy in society, in civilization, in any context, if you had come from a place of love and even asked that question, how can we make the old customers love Jaguar and the new customers love Jaguar, and put them together so something that brand new and more than the sum of its part emerges, then every decision, everything would have been so different. And it would have been interesting to have seen, if you had come at this process from a place of love, how it would have unfolded. And I'm taking that Jaguar thing as an example, to take that down into our own projects and asking that same question. If you come at that project, whatever it is, whether it's paying your bills or cleaning a room, or on every level, if you try and come at that from a place of love, could that project be something spectacular by the time we're done? And would it raise your energy? Would it raise everybody's energy who interacts with it and make them happier too? And
I think you have to heal the generational divides first, and certainly stop this. It's awful. There's literally people out there that think like that young people are just insane. Like, oh my goodness, they're using strange different words, completely forgetting, what their generation did with the word groovy and square back in the day.
I keep using the word groovy, and also when I'm talking to AIs. So I'm bringing the word back into circulation, because I like the word groovy. I like saying it, I like thinking it, and this is my experiment of injecting a word that has not been used for 20 years or more back into current circulation. And I find that really funny. I would also make the point that we are having a generational divide between the two presenters of the Energy Show. Did you know that?
I wouldn't call myself Gen Z, but I do. I have found some of their languaging very interesting. Like for example, I went to a aquarium with my daughter the other day, and I looked at this tank full of coloured fish swimming around, and I just used the Gen Z phrase, "It's giving fish."
Very nice phrase. I mean, anybody who understands energy can totally adopt that. This is giving me art, going into an art shop. This is awesome. And it's art energy. This is art energy coming into me. I love it. And I could see, I don't believe, honestly, I don't believe in a generational divide. I think there are people who want to communicate and people who don't want to communicate for whatever reason. I think there's people who believe that if we put many viewpoints together, what I would call true diversity, that we would gain from that we are together more than the sum of our parts. And generations, really, I mean, we need to be talking together with young children, with teenagers, with adults, with old people like myself, bring them together, compare human experience. And Star Matrix is, as far as I know, the only thing that can totally do that.
Mm. Well, it's got to be a two-way conversation, isn't it? You know, sometimes it could be feeling like it's a talking to a different generation equals preaching, and that's got to be.
Well, you
It's
wouldn't
got to be.
have
It's got
that
to be a
if you.
two-way conversation, isn't it?
Well, see, here's the thing with that. Star Matrix really does create total equality and equity and inclusion. Because imagine a table, and around this table, it's say 24 people around this table, and they're all different in race, religion, where they come from, age. They're all totally different. And one of them starts off and says, I had a star event the other day where I ate a piece of chocolate, and it was the best piece of chocolate I've ever eaten in my entire life. It was so good that the minute it touched my tongue, the lights went brighter, and I was like, oh my God, that is so tasty. And now we can ask all the other 23 people around the table to share their star moments with food. Because
This would be great, but I do know somebody that would relate a time when they had an even better tasting piece of chocolate in some kind of little shack in a desert in Dubai, for example.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's a star event.
Aha!
No, it's no aha in that. It's a star event. It is
I
of
know,
equal
but, yeah.
value. No, this is what I'm saying. It is of equal value. It's not influenced by whether you have a PhD title or whether you're 5 years old or whether you're 96 and have got this vast experience. It's on the same level of human experience and of the same value. And that is, I find that absolutely hyper exciting.
Telling Star Matrix stories should never be out competing.
How can it
Oh,
be?
you had a nice time in your holiday at Spain, did you? Well, we went to the
What the
Dominican
hell?
Republic.
No, but that makes no difference. It doesn't make any difference where you went. Whether you had your star event in your back garden, in your paddling pool, or in your millionaire's mansion, or in your Tibetan monastery where you're the lead Tibetan monastery guy. Doesn't matter. It's about, that's what I'm saying. This is true equity, true equity. Everybody on the same playing field, contributing their experience to the big pot in the middle. And that big pot is wisdom. And at the end of that session, we can take that pot and pass it around. Everybody can drink from it. And then we've all learned something. We've all learned something without prejudice, without bitching that you can't learn from a woman or no.
We tell a star story not to impress anyone, but to relay the experience and the energy shift that we felt at that time.
Yes, it's data. It's information about how people work. So, and this is as far as I know the only place where you could put all these people around a table and their experience is equally valid, equally valuable, and equally unique, and all contributes to actual learning and wisdom. But so how do we spread a little bit more happiness was the title of our story, and we've come to the end of our time here together, which is a shame because I like these cross-generational discussions that we have. They're good fun. So yeah, what is the takeaway from this?
Look after your own energy levels. Take action when you feel them dropping. Do not wallow in self-pity. Actually do something positive to get yourself into the positive energy realms. Feel confident. To
be brave.
Be brave and to lead people out of their own personal misery. And teach them as well how to encourage you out of yours sometimes if you need it as well. I mean, this
absolutely. Yeah, literally say to the person, don't let me whine on for hours. Just stop and tell me to stop and take a deep breath and remember you're awesome. Just tell me that when I'm losing the plot. Yes,
Mm.
actually saying to people, this is how I would like you to treat me. And then we're,
Mhm.
that because that would work for me.
Yeah.
Uh,
And find things that
noticing,
stabilize yourself as well. For me, it's splashing water in my face. I find that very stabilizing. There's
interesting.
something about cleaning my face with water that's just resets. Something inside resets, and it's yeah. Sylvia's had her feet on the floor, drum on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Feel grounded you are. Deep breath.
Yep. I also have one that has helped me on so many occasions, which is just looking up at the sky for a moment and seeing the clouds. That just does it for me. Even if it's a really rainy day, the sun is always shining above the clouds. And
Mm.
also at night, if I'm not fascinated by the stars, just looking up at the sky for a moment makes a huge difference to my energy system and my stress levels. So find out what works for you, and really use it with this will to spread a little more happiness. And
Mm.
may I one other thing my dear energy mind has suggested, which was so your energy high, you're walking around outside, say you're in some town where in a city somewhere where you can't smile at people, or you just get beaten up. In the high energy state, what can you do in that circumstance to spread a little happiness and become creative? You might just walk down the road and just throw out little blessings, like little sparks of light. Or you might just sprinkle some stardust onto the road as an energetic movement. Or there may be a building that looks really depressed and you send it a gift of love and appreciation for all the good service it has done for the last 100 years.
These are
Be
energy gifts, aren't
creative.
they?
Yeah,
We're talking.
creative. Be creative with
Mm.
what you can do as you're walking through your life and your path, and you're leaving these pools and paths of light, and see where you can just do your thing and add a little happiness as you walk by.
Mm.
So I do
Please
hope
try.
you've enjoyed this. If you have some good ideas for us, what we can add, please leave it in the comments. It really, really helps with the dear algorithm, our great overlord to which we all bow, humans though we are. And yeah, I love it. Spread a little happiness as you walk by. Please try.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Lots of love.